Shalom, family. I'm about to share a little bit of American history with you. It's a history that no one really wants to talk about. They kind of want to just keep it buried in the past, along with all the other things that they want to keep buried in the past, all of the horrific things that happened in this country to our people. Specifically, I'm going to be talking about how down in Florida, you had these men who thought it was okay to use black babies to catch alligators. Okay, many of you who have seen the Whited Out series and other people who have talked about this and documented this, you will know that this is something that they did down in Florida. It was a sport to them, and they wanted the best possible way to catch that prize alligator. And the way they did that, they looked at people who they thought were worthless. They didn't care if you had a mother or father. They didn't care how cute the baby was, whether it was a boy or girl. They said, you know what, I want to catch alligators, and there is what I'm going to use to catch these alligators. I'm going to take these black babies away from their parents, away from the mother, who would sometimes be working out in the field, and the baby would be wherever. And so you had these men, these strange people who thought it was okay to go in, take these babies out of their cribs, tie ropes around them, throw them out into the water so that they can catch alligators. Total disregard for the lives of those children. We're talking about down in Florida. And then to add insult to injury, they coined a term called gator bait. But they didn't stop there. We even seen an episode of Schoolhouse Rock where they showed a little black child, a little black infant, toddler, running away from an alligator as it chomped at his backside. Now, what kind of person could do something like that? You saw this human, this live person, in such a way, in such a bad way, that you didn't care about the life that they lived, about their family, about the feelings, and you used them to catch alligators for your own personal use. When I think about the horrific things that have been done to my people in this country and around the world, I can hardly wrap my brain around it. Now, I'm not going to always focus on the reasons why this has happened. I'm not going to always focus on that. I want to talk about the horror of it sometimes, so that those of you who are sleeping or asleep can begin to awaken to the reality that we're living to this day. Now, we're always being told to leave the past in the past. But tell that to the descendants. Tell that to the descendants of some of those families who lost their children down in Florida to these vicious, violent, inhumane attacks from other humans who thought it was okay to use them to catch alligators. It's amazing that this country have some demons in their closet, some skeletons in their closet, some horrendous things or track records that they have put out there of things that they have done. And many of them don't believe that the judgment of Yah could ever take hold in any kind of way. It is really truly sad to imagine a child suffering in that way, being carried away in the mouth of an alligator, especially when it's done on purpose by people who want to catch alligators. I'm reminded of how Frank Taffy, remember the guy who was defending George Zimmerman in his actions against Trayvon Martin? Remember him? Do you remember how the Most High allowed his actions, his hatred, to come back and to bite him in such a way, it was double fold. Now, I think they said it was within 6 months, give or take a few months, of Trayvon Martin's death. You know, after he had said all these things, all these horrible things, all of these hateful things about Trayvon. It's really amazing that within 6 months, one of his sons was killed. But that didn't stop his angry tirade of lies against Trayvon Martin. The next year afterward, another one of his sons was killed. So he lost 2 sons. Just as Trayvon Martin's parents lost a son, he now lost 2. But it didn't stop there. He continued. But it wasn't until his brother died a short time afterward that he said, wait a minute, somebody's trying to get my attention. The Most High was trying to get his attention, to let him know that if you continue down this path, that judgment is going to pursue you and overtake you. So, in the midst of all of his lies and anger and hatred towards Trayvon Martin, the Most High took 2 of his sons and his brother, and he came back and apologized and said he now knows what Trayvon Martin's parents feel like. He now knows. And he then confessed that yes, indeed, he believed that George pursued Trayvon Martin out of pure hatred and racism. So when I think about the babies, the black babies that had to suffer being used to catch alligators, all I can do is only imagine the horror that those parents felt, knowing that you had men who were doing this on purpose. Men who hated them so bad that they would take their children and use them to catch alligators. America has a debt, and I'm not talking about a financial debt. It has a debt. And the Most High, I'm going to say God for you all who don't know who Yah is. We know him as Yah, but you all call him God. But the Most High God, he's going to be the one to call that debt in. And I just want you all to chew on that for a little while. Chew on that. And you make the decision as to whether or not you are going to repent in your heart, or whether or not you are going to continue with your diabolical, evil, wicked, prideful hypocrisy and hatred against his people, the real children of Israel, which are the so-called black people who were shipped here and used as slaves, raped, killed, murdered, hung from trees, babies used as gator bait. Either you repent, or the judgment of Yah will pursue you and overtake you. After killing our babies and using them to catch alligators, they taunted us and teased us, made novelty items and trinkets and postcards, used them in cartoons, images of black babies being killed and hunted by alligators. They showed no remorse. For them, it was another one of those get over it moments. We can do whatever we want to you. No remorse. No remorse. No remorse. And for all of the items that they made, they sold. So there were buyers, people who thought it was a good idea to own these items, to have them in their possession, to remind them of how much they hated our people by killing our babies, feeding them to alligators. No remorse. And the descendants of these people are the same way. No regard for black lives. Black lives do not matter in this country.